Bruh. Bruh.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 29th Joy of Painting series.
How you doing? I'm so glad that you could join us here tonight. Now, I turned one of my friends into Walter, this silly little dog, and I gotten a request from someone to turn them into Walter, so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. First, let me show all the colors, have them graphically run across the screen, while I describe what I've done. So I have an image of Walter right here. I have an image of the person we will be turning into Walter. And we have an additional picture of Walter, which will come into play later. But right now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take our crop tool and match the background and just try to get the aspect ratio as accurate as possible. Now that's getting a bit of his shoulder in. Of course, you can always Control Z and undo it, but I think this will be good for now. So let's zoom in, and now we're going to take our customer. And now this picture at first, when I first saw it, I thought it would be a little problematic. But upon closer inspection, I realized that we should be fine, since usually when I turn people into Walter, I get rid of the hair. So the hair being obstructed by the hand shouldn't be a problem. And these glasses might actually pose a challenge, but I will do my best. Now, what we're going to do, of course, as normal, is get a rough outline. We don't have to be pretty about it. We just got to make sure we have it and get it into position. So now that we have this layer, we're just going to name it D, just because that's one of my favorite letters. So now we're going to scale the layer, pardon me, make it a little bigger. Here we go. Maybe just a tad bigger. Really get the Walter aspect. There it is. Oh dear. Now, there we go. Now we're gonna begin the process of erasing. Now, erasing is a very difficult process, especially when you're erasing the hair, because you don't want to warp the shape of the head in any way. You want it to stay how it was before. Try and keep the glasses in there, mess that up a little bit. Don't worry, you can always go back and fix it. Now, just keep going. Now we're gonna scale down the size of our brush just so we can get these little nooks. Scale them down. Oh, it's a little mishap. Now, it might be easier for you if you're having trouble. Oh dear, where is it? There it is. It might be easier if you zoom in on your suspect. Or your subject, pardon me. And then you just erase away. Now, obviously, there's some reflection in those glasses, but we'll get to that later. We just want a clean outline of our customer. And of course, Walter doesn't have ears, so we're going to have to get rid of the ears. Unfortunate, but it will have to do. So now we're going to scale down our brush even further just to get that meticulous little reflection detail. Obviously, you can put filters in it, maybe a fisheye lens, fishbowl lens, to make it look like an actual reflection, but we're not going to do that right now. Right now, we're not going to worry about that. We're going to scale up the brush size just to get rid of this much quicker. Maybe, oh, what the heck, just a little more. And there we go. Now let's zoom back out and see what we got. Not bad, not bad. I think it does require just a little fine tuning. So let's go back in on this particular area. Now that you can still see just the slightest bit of her hair. So we're gonna scale it down. Just get it right there. Perfect. Now let's just scroll through a little bit more just to see if get rid of that shadow. Refine the shape of the neck just to get that Walter-esque roundness. And there we go. Now that we have done that, we are going to zoom out. Now this is going to be just a tad tricky because of the glasses, but usually when I turn my subjects into Walter, what I do is I take, actually what we should do is we should scale down the forehead first. This is very tricky because, as you can see, let's look at this picture. Walter doesn't have much of a forehead. So obviously this will not do. So what we're going to do is we're going to start here and just... That was terrible. But of course this is Photoshop, so you can always go back and try again. Now, let's see if I can salvage this. Just a little bit. No. Now, of course, not even I'm very good at this. It usually takes me a few tries. But usually when you're done, works out fairly well. And if you do it right, you get the classic Walter head shape. So we're gonna keep going. That does not work at all. Try that, maybe? There we go. Now there's still a little bit of her eyebrows in there, but that'll be okay. All we need to do is just blend them away. And there we go. The eyebrows are gone. Now, what we have to do next is, as you can see, Walter has a sizable schnauzer. And obviously, this will not do. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this in the shape of a triangle and scale up the nose. And make sure it meets just about the top of the mouth. Let's make it just a little bit wider. Just a tad taller. And there we go. Next, what we have to do, we can just blend it in ever so carefully so it looks authentic. Just do that. Now this is what's tricky, is the glasses. The glasses don't work out very well. Now we're just gonna, and there we go. Now we're gonna come to the most difficult part, the eyes. So what I'm going to do is we have to get rid of these eyes. And since there is a reflection, it poses a bit of a challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test this out. I'm going to take a sample right here. Let's just call it neck for now. Let's zoom in and just erase the bits that touch the side. Now that might not look like much, but all we have to do is scale the layer Ooh, may have scaled it a little too much. So let's scale it back down. And just, that should do it. There we go. So now let's zoom out and just see if we can line it up just a little bit better. Let's see what we got. There we are. Let's disable that real quick. What have I done? Here, let's just reverse that actually, because I made a little sizable mistake back there. But that's okay. We can always just go back and change it. Ooh, that's too small. There we go. So now, try and just smudge it around. See if we can get just a very vague effect right there. Do you see that? A vague reflection effect. Now let's copy that and see if we can add it onto this eye. See, hold on. I'm just gonna name it that. Oh. There we go. So now we can smudge this just a little bit. And there we go. So the final thing we have to do is the eyes. And that's why I've gotten this third picture of our lovely friend over here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get a rough outline, paste it in, line it up, and we're going to take our eraser tool and just erase it. Take your time. Baby steps, baby steps. Now there's still some white, so we're just gonna, got a little bit of the eye there, so we're gonna undo that. Oh. Here, let's decrease the size of the brush just by a tiny bit. There we go, so we can really be more precise with our eyes. There we go. So let's get a copy of that. And here, let's zoom out for this. Just a little bit. Not too much. Now, obviously there's still a lot of stuff here. Actually, instead I'm just going to we're just gonna scale that down just a little bit. Where is, still gotta erase this bit right there. And actually, we are going to take this image and look for the transform option. Should be around here somewhere. I might have gone way past it. Here it is. Flip horizontally. So now that we have reverse, let's copy that and paste a reverse eye into the our image over here. So now we're just gonna continue erasing. I'm gonna take a slightly different technique here or get a rough outline and then increase the brush size to get all of this out of the way. Much like in life, I hate my children. Now, let's scale just a little bit down. And we are going to line it up just a tiny bit. And let's rotate it just a little, just ever so slightly. See, where is the manual rotate? There it is. Just do that. And let's move over to this one. Scale it down a bit. There we go. Now we're going to go back and rotate this one. Just like the old one. And there we go. So now that we've done that, let's just zoom out and look at our picture so far. I think it's not bad. Not bad. I'm definitely gonna go farther and fine-tune it just a little bit more, but I think that's all the time we got for today. Thank you for joining. Hope you can meet us back next week. God bless.